Good morning. This is Robert Riehl, and I'm here with.
Angel Rivera.
All right, Angel. What is your definition of culture?
Culture, it's family, family togetherness. Basically, it's a lot of stuff. If you look at it, it's education, food, things that people do together.
All right. And how do you define family?
Family is, well, basically, it's everybody that's inclusive, friends. That's basically
So outside the bloodline.
outside.
Too.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Who holds the most status in your family? Like, the elderly or the.
Oh yes, the elderly.
The elderly
yes.
hold the most.
Yes.
So they're
Looked upon
in
for
your culture.
advice.
They're very respected
Right.
and not
Yes.
so much outcasted
Mhm.
as you tend to find
Yep.
in the United States, to where they go into
Right.
long-term care
Yeah,
facilities
right.
and stuff. Okay, awesome. How do you define success?
Success. Success could be really anything.
It's just like a complete happy life.
right. Happy life.
Okay,
It's not about what you have; it's what you've done.
okay, awesome. Do you consider your parents to have been successful?
Well, yeah. For the coming over here and then starting a new life and succeeding, raising 8 kids. They did pretty good.
Awesome. So in your family, growing up or with you being a father and your kids, how important was education?
Education was important. So to learn multi-language, understand everything. It was important.
Excellent.
Very important.
What is the most important meal of the day?
The important meal of the day, well, in our culture here today, it's basically breakfast is the most important to get you started. But I think dinner in our family, because it's when everybody came together and you could find out what was going on in everybody's day.
So when you're raising your family, did everyone actually come together and
Yes.
eat dinner? So it's
Yep.
not completely, most houses now everybody comes and takes it.
No, it was
It kinda
everybody.
just goes-
Yeah, but there was a back some time ago, and it wasn't this rush for kids going every direction instead of everybody being in a community. That's where I come from. It's community. And I don't think we have the community in today's world. We have everybody rushing out to do things away from home.
Yeah. So now the kids are out of the household.
Yes.
So do your wife and you still sit down together and have dinner?
Yep.
And
Yep.
just the same?
Yep. Same.
That's awesome. Super, super cool. Do you eat foods that are indigenous to your culture? And then just, yes, what are some of the most popular and traditional?
Well, one of the things, with the Spanish, which I've learned to make, is your rice,
Okay.
rice and beans, and the bottom of the pot is what we call pegao. That's like delicacy for us.
Okay.
But plantains,
Yeah.
Plantains are big time.
Those are good.
Excellent.
I guess we should have started with, you're from,
Puerto Rico.
when you moved here when you were how old?
8.
And why did you guys come
Just
to the United States?
just to move it to Ernie, parents coming over for work.
Okay.
'Cause Puerto
You
Rico
still have family
basically
back in
is-
Puerto
yes,
Rico?
Yes,
You go
lots of
back
time.
and visit?
Yes, gone back. You go
How
back
often?
a few times. It's expensive, so you
Yeah.
go there and
Did you keep the language running in your family with your kids and pass
yes,
it down?
yes.
Okay.
Everybody speaks
That
Spanish.
sometimes gets lost.
Yes, it
I've
gets
seen
lost.
in,
It gets lost. It gets broken. It's kind of a broken.
They forget it and they don't keep passing it
Yes.
down. And it's super important. All right. Did you ever live with your grandparents or extended family, or have
No.
them live with you?
Nope. Actually, they were. I really don't remember grandparents.
Okay. Do you actively participate in a religion?
Well, yes.
And is that tied to your Hispanic?
Well, not.
Rican.
Well, that'd be the Catholic religion for our side of the family, but I've kind of broke it away because I feel religion has become more of a big business.
Yeah.
Instead of a religious experience, you experience it as a business.
Okay.
And so I've attended the Methodist churches where I kind of belong to now.
Okay.
It's kind of like.
Do you still
Because-
hold on to parts of
Yes,
Catholicism?
yes. You hold on parts of it, because
Do you
that's
still
just
pray the prayers or
your
anything
prayer.
like the
You're
rosary?
right.
And-
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. And then, but it's interesting just the evolution of religion.
Yeah, I'm new to I've only been Catholic for 5 years, but I get what you mean when you're saying the business side of things. Yeah, there's always that one talk every year.
Yep.
Okay, let's see here. What about religion in your family? Did you encourage it? Did you let your kids kind of go where they went?
I let them, choose.
Okay.
Daughter, she chose where she felt comfortable, and then she belongs to a non-denominational because she enjoys that it's a multicultural event where people come together, and it's about religion, not about how much you have, your status. It's just, about.
Very cool. All right. Are the roles of the men and women specifically defined in your culture? Or are they, in terms of its, did women mostly do the cooking and cleaning in the household, and the men kind of do, have a job?
Earning, yes, going out, and yes, I would say yes.
Was it like that for you?
Yeah.
In your family?
Yep. My mom cooked, cleaned, everything was done. She actually taught us to do the same thing because she said never depend on a woman to take care of you, take care of yourself.
Okay, that's
So,
good.
so you had to learn
did that
how
carry
to
over with your
right.
wife? Did she take like the mother role and stay home and carry that on?
No, because both of us worked. So, but I was the cook.
Okay.
Because I was a better cook.
Yeah.
And
I can't say that for myself.
But that's just things that I pushed myself to do.
Okay.
I have my preferences.
Very cool. Very, very cool. Are there any eating habits or like rituals with eating that are specific to your culture?
No.
Okay. What about holidays in your culture? Any certain holidays that you guys hold?
Well, you
special?
have your the Day of the Dead. It's where everybody comes together. You remember the ones that have left, which was it the trying to remember the movie that's just out, Coco.
Okay.
Which kind of took you back to your history of seeing when you were a kid, things you saw where people remembered people, and that was the reason that you wanted to keep them alive in memory.
Very true. All right. We talked on the language. This is one we just got done talking about in our class. So physical contact and like here at the gym, having conversations with each other. In the United States, for us, it's kind of comfortable to be an arm's distance away, kind of we're talking. But in a lot of Hispanic cultures and other cultures, like Asian and stuff, it's more common to be closer and talk. What about yourself?
In our group, and even now, it's the greeting is the hug and kiss, and it's funny because even the nieces and nephews, their friends who have been introduced into the family, when the elders, they all jump up, hug and kiss everybody and greet everybody. So it's a touchy-feely kind of culture, It's very unique, and it's kind of fun because everybody that comes in, they see it, and they like, when you first join the family or come into the family, you kind of like, what's going on? Then you kind of
need to feel like family right away.
Right. So you're welcome.
So when you first started coming, or when you interact with new people at the wellness center, like someone who isn't of Hispanic or culture that kind of is naturally close, do you notice that?
Mm-hmm.
Like I would be farther away, and you'd notice different kind of.
Oh yeah, you notice, and you notice,
England,
right? And it's funny is because even with families that you see that meet each other here, that they're brothers, or there's no warmth of hugs, and they're like the nod, and I call it the nod, and it's like guys said my nephew walked up here and he knocked me over, give me a big hug and and a kiss, and everybody like, what's going on?
If you're lucky, you'll get a fist bump here. Very cool, very interesting. Have you since your time? I'll make sure. Okay, still going. Click the button. Since you've been in the United States, far back as you can remember, have you ever, or do you remember anyone in your family ever experiencing any kind of like racism or cultural slang towards you, even if it was just friendly, but still someone out of context throwing in something that normally you would only talk to someone in your native culture? Like,
But one of the things you know when you're growing up, and I grew up in the city of Detroit, so it was multicultural, and so then we moved out to the suburbs, and so you really didn't understand it because you didn't know it was happening to you. And then when you get out of school and you sit down, you start talking to people, and like back in my age group, when in the suburban schools, we were told basically you're going to work in a factory, where others were told you're going off to college. So your curriculum was geared that way. So it's when you come out of school, and as you got older, then you realize that, wait a minute, I was discriminated against, but I had no idea, because just the way I was, you're Spanish, so you go here, you're, how would you say, white, you're going here because you're college. And even if my grade point was higher than
Yeah.
And some of our friends, after we graduated, we've talked about that, and some of them went off to be, do the education, good jobs, and it was funny because they says, your grades were better than my grades, but
very cool.
But you didn't understand it. You didn't really, and in the work field you hear it, people joking back and forth. But I mean, it's something you just.
Have you ever heard? I know I hear it all the time on like Sports Center, and I'm sure you must have heard it. Where they'll talk about Puerto Ricans, and like they'll talk about the male, and they're like they're born for baseball. So that's what all they do, play baseball. Have you ever heard it? And
you hear it. This is what you're.
Does that kind of make you? Have you ever took offense to it? Or
no, I just chuckle. Because I look at it that you really don't understand the culture. If you went and spent some time, then you would see difference. Yes, there's sports just like everywhere else, but there's priorities that you have to take. And in Puerto Rico, there's not really a lot of the pharmaceutical companies are in Puerto Rico, which a lot of people don't.
Oh, I didn't know that at all.
A lot of pharmaceutical.
Very cool. I did not know that. Do you feel that people today have a sense of culture?
You talked back in Puerto Rico, yes. I think, especially now since the hurricanes.
Yeah.
I mean, it's brought them closer together, and they understand now it's the only ones that are going to take care of themselves are themselves. They can't wait for the outsiders to come in and help them. Are they disappointed? Yes, but but we're an advantage because we as church members in different groups are taking turns going to Puerto Rico to help rebuild. So it's kind of.
So what are some of the best things about living in the U.S. and what are some of the worst?
I think the best things is just the opportunities. There's more opportunities to move forward, to develop wealth, and I mean wealth as far as a little bit of everything. You can go out and experience any kind of food you want to experience. You can go to school and learn anything you want to learn. So it's different type of wealth. You can meet people from every walk of life if you choose to open your eyes. So that's
very good. I guess I'll take it off into a different, other than the question, because I just thought. So I'm a veteran, and you are.
Yes, veteran.
So tell me any experiences of back then probably a minority, today not really much of a minority, of being in the military.
Well, I was in the service when the transition was going on, where minorities were going into the service. Especially, I was in the Navy, so actually I got to experience race riots on board the ships. And it was funny in a way because being that I was Spanish, I was kind of like the Spanish guys on board the ship were considered neutral territory, as they would put it. We held everybody's stuff while they
Interesting.
It was interesting. It was like, and then they had the fire hoses to, calm everybody down. But it was very interesting that we weren't considered either side. We were considered like, the middle, the ones that, don't jump on either side. And that's what we stayed back and just watched. I forgot about those.
That kind of touches on that one. That really touches on that one. All right. Well, I think that pretty much puts us at the end. Is there anything, like if you could leave a message of advice for our generation and anything that you would
I think
just off the top of your head?
I think this generation that's coming up is very highly educated. I think they don't look politics as party politics. They look at it who's the best person to fit in that position.
Now it's kind of going into a Hollywood
Right.
thing now.
And I see the younger generation opening up their eyes and saying, hey, we're done with this. And the other thing I see is that I see the sense of community coming back, where the younger generation are watching out for the elders around and kind of helping, not waiting to be asked, but stepping up and saying, hey, how can I help you? And it's shocking, some of people my age group, like, because they're not used to it, you know, and it's kind of neat. And so like our military, I think our military's progressed 100%, from the time that when I was in and seeing the little battles where you see officers from different races, and sex. I mean females and that.
Yeah,
definitely. So, and I was again when the females were first coming aboard, aboard the ship, Navy, the waves, and I don't know if they're still called waves, but that was back.
Awesome. Well, that wraps it up.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Glad I
Get
could
back
help
to
you out.
your workout
All right.
now.
Well, you enjoy.
All right.